Hello, hello. Psst. Is anyone excited? Hello, hello, hello. What up, what up? Just give it one more minute. Whoa. What's up, everybody? Hello. How y'all doing today? Hello, hello. Hearts back to y'all. What up? What's up? Anesthesia, David, Cheyenne, Catherine, Clarissa, Miguel. What up, what up? Anyone excited for today? Doing good, great. Me too. Just got done drawing. Do you all know what today is? What's up, Sir Nico? Today is modeling, everybody. Right. I'll go slow, just talk for a couple minutes, let everybody get in here, and then we'll get straight to it. So for the people that don't know, I am Onua, and I'll be instructor today. Oh, let me turn down the music. And let me know how the sound is, how the music is. Is it too loud? Is it too quiet? Yeah. I'm Onua. I'm a student here at CADA, and I'll be holding your hand through this little bootcamp. And this is the second bootcamp out of 4, which means that we're doing modeling today. Last time was sculpting, and then next time will be texturing. So it should be fun, we should learn a lot. And now I introduced myself, and you all can maybe tell me a little bit about yourself. So, do we have any people that are completely new to Blender? Do we have some people that have a little bit of experience, or maybe a lot of experience? Where are you all at, sort of? Can you turn your mic up a little bit? Oop. Can try. Maybe I can turn down the music. I can move the mic a little bit too. Oop. There we go. Am I more clear now? Okay, wait. Is it okay now with the mic? Should be good, right? Yes. Would you recommend the school, and how far into the semesters are you? Fine, perfect. To Blender I am new, but I have some experience in Maya. Okay, great. Okay, so this sort of thing will be for everybody. Or like, you can sort of make it as hard as you want, but I'll go from the very beginning and everybody should be able to follow along. So for me, Sir Nico, I'm 3rd semester right now, which means I've been here for a little bit more than a year. And the school for me, I was doing a little bit of 3D before I came, even a little bit of freelance and stuff like that. So I came in with some experience. And the school's been great for me in a lot of ways, but it's also like, when it comes especially to 3D and art, I don't think anything is like given to you, you know. You're not gonna become a great artist just because you attend a school. It's sort of still it's something that you have to do. And for me, the school was a great tool for me because it gave me a community, it gave me resources, it gave me sort of a little more of a structured approach to my learning. So it was great for me, and it kind of depends on who you are and where you are as a person. And it can also help people that have like no idea where they want to go, because it's sort of very general in a sense. so you can try out a lot of things. But for me, it was just that structure that really helped me. So yeah. But if you're curious about it, you should just come to the open houses or book a meeting on the website or something. There's lots of people that wanna help you if there's something you need to figure out. All right, everybody, hold up. Okay. So was anyone here for the last modeling stream? And are you all ready to get into it? So for this stream, the way we're doing it is I'm doing it live, which means that y'all can ask me questions and I can help you, and that's the whole purpose of it. So don't be shy, ask me questions, let me talk to you, talk to me, and I'll help you through it. So if anything goes too fast, or if something is confusing, or you have any kind of general 3D related questions, just ask them in the chat. And I think if you have a question on your mind, there's probably a couple other people that are also thinking about the same question. So don't be shy when it comes to that. Let's go, yeah, let's go. Okay, pretty new to it. Alright. So last time what we did was a little noodle ramen shop, and we'll be doing something similar, but in a different vein. So we're doing a coffee shop. We had a lot of fun modeling this kind of thing last time, so we'll be figuring out how to do a coffee shop this time. I think it'll be fun. So I'll put some reference up on the screen a little bit later. But while you're listening to me, maybe if you already know the shortcuts and the navigation and stuff like that, you can go find reference for coffee related stuff, and we can get going on it a little bit. I already collected my references, so I'm cheating, but you can also use my references. I'll put them up on the screen. But this is the sort of vibe we're going for, a little coffee shop. This picture especially, I think we should follow this one. So there's lots of opportunity for everybody. The people that are joining me and are completely new, don't worry about it. We'll take it cube by cube, little by little. And for the people that have a lot of experience, you guys can go ahead and go as wild as you feel like and as your heart desires. You can do some really cool stuff with all the shapes in here. Okay, so if any of you were with me last time with the sculpting, you might be wondering, well, okay, why would you use Blender? What's the difference between the two softwares? What's going on with all that? And it's just that Blender has a more rigid approach to creating 3D models, which comes with a lot of drawbacks, but a lot of positives too. So if you have some kind of models that have a less organic shape, or something more predictable, something machined, there are a lot of cases where rigid structure can really be a benefit compared to like a negative, and we'll get into all that. So first of all, what you see when you open Blender, you have your main viewport just like we did in ZBrush, and this is where you see your objects and your scene and everything. And to rotate around this viewport, you hold down middle mouse, and that lets you orbit. So just like with the ZBrush, just get used to the hotkeys I'm telling you right now and just go ahead and play with it. And if you ever break something, you can just close it and open it up again like a new scene, and it should be fine. So middle mouse to orbit, shift middle mouse to pan around. So middle mouse orbit, shift middle mouse to pan around. And using these two in combination, you can sort of get where you want in your scene, and you can see whatever it is that you want to see. And so to zoom in and out, you just rotate on the scroll wheel. You roll it in and out. It's really that simple. Okay, there it is. So if you look on the UI, this main area is our viewport, and then out here on the right is where we have what's called an outliner. So this is where you select all the objects in your scene, and you can select them in the viewport just by left clicking. So you see how they get highlighted. So this is a camera, this is a light, and this is a cube. And you can also see how they get highlighted out in the outliner. So if there's something that you can't find at some point, you can just click them out here. And that's where it's really useful to start naming stuff as well, right? So you can double click here and you can call it light 2. And then, or you can call this coffee coffee mug when we get to that point, right? And then if you can't find it in your scene, you can always click it out here or something like that. But we're doing a relatively small scene, so it should be manageable. Okay, great. And then underneath the outliner, we have a bunch of information about our scene and the things that we have selected, our objects. And it's a little bit more complicated, and we probably won't get into all that today. But there's a lot that we will not get into today, because Blender is sort of like a Swiss Army knife of 3D. Said that before a couple times, and I'll say it again. There's so many things you can do in Blender, and we're just going to use a very, very small portion of it today. But it'll be enough for our purposes. Okay, so let's get into the tools a little bit. So to model in 3D, we have a bunch of different tools, and we use all these tools in combination with each other to create whatever it is that we want. So some of the basic ones are out here on the left. So you have move, very simply, you click it and then you get a tool that you can move whatever object you have selected with. So you can kind of see that, I'm just moving it on the axis. Oh yeah, and if you ever get lost in your scene, for the navigation you can click the home button on your keyboard and it will take you right back to here. Boop, home. Or you can go view and then you can frame all or frame selected right here. Okay, so we can move stuff around like this by clicking out here, and then the shortcut for that in Blender is G. And that works a little bit differently, but it's G to grab and you can move stuff around. Okay, and also for the people that wanna get used to the hotkeys a bit, which I think you should, but for this basic tutorial I'll just be using the basic tools, right? But in Blender, the cool thing about it is that you can click G and then you can click X, for example, to move on one axis, or G and Z to move on another axis. G, Y. So you can see sort of as a structure, it's a little bit more rigid already compared to something like ZBrush. Okay, so next tool is the rotate tool. Yeah, pretty basic, it just rotates whatever object you have. If you click in the center, you can just sort of free rotate, and then you can drag on these little colored planes or circles, and then you can rotate on that axis. So hotkey for move was G, hotkey for rotate is R. So G to grab, R to rotate, and then the last one we'll go over right now is scale. So S to scale. You can click the middle to scale it in all the ways, and you can click on the axis to only scale it in some ways. So so now that we're like, oh, the cube is in a weird position or something, if we want to reset the rotation, for example, you see I opened this little tab out here, there's a little arrow, you can click that, and then you have a bunch of information about the object you have selected. So you can see there's a bunch of different rotations on it, because just before we're rotating around, and you can just left click and set these to 0, right? So it goes back to where it was. So you have the X, Y, and Z, and in Blender you can left click and drag on all of them, and then you can click 0, and now it's back to having no rotation. You can do the same with the location, and now it's back to having no location. So it's just exactly where it used to be, in the middle. Great. Have this made sense so far to everybody? Is everybody following along? This is just the very, very basics of the Blender UI. Let me know if anything went too fast, if it makes sense. And of course you can always also click S for scale, and you can click X, Z or Y to only scale on those axes if you want to use the hotkeys. Same with the rotate, R, and then you can click X, Z, Y. Excuse me. I promise I'll get into the modeling real quick, but I just need to know that everybody is on board and we're not losing people. course, just figuring out the UI and the hotkeys of any software is a little bit of a, you know, you just gotta get through it, and then the fun part comes next. But I do assume that it looked like the chat, yeah, the people that are writing, they had a little bit of experience with Blender. So I hope it's not too redundant, but I just have to go through it every time. So this is our concept for today, everybody, and I'll be modeling, and feel free to model along me, feel free to model with me, feel free to model sort of freestyle in your own way. I'd love to see all your projects after this stream, that'd be awesome. So with the tools that we've learned so far already, we can sort of get very far. We don't need a lot more tools right now. I'll teach you all those in a little bit, but for now we'll just start out with the very basic tools that we have. So I'll just start out with making like the little bottom box here, so we know where we're at and where we should place everything. Hearts back at you. Oop. There we go. Wait, David Evers, you're asking what theme? Sorry, I thought I saw that message before. I think it should just be the default when you open Blender. I might be wrong though. Oh, this music is a little wild. Okay, there we go. Okay, is everybody seeing what I'm doing right now? I just need to know that people are sort of on track and following along or something. If it was confusing, I apologize, and it's completely fine to say that it is. I can just go over some stuff again. But now I'll just sort of place down the main cubes that make up the shape that I want to have. So let's place down the floor right here. And then what we can do is we can Control C and Control V. And now we've duplicated this cube, and then we can move it, and now we have a second cube. Amazing. Great. We're actually magicians. So you see, I went for this bottom shape, and now I'm just gonna make this top shape right here. Okay, now if we want to rotate this 90 degrees, we can just go out here to the right and write in 90. Or we can click G and then X, because we're rotating on the X axis. Oh, sorry, R and then G. And then we can write in 90 on the keyboard, and it sort of does all that for us, which is really cool. And the people coming from Maya might think that's a neat feature, because it is. Right. And then let's go ahead and scale this a little bit. Boop. Okay, we'll sort of figure out more as we keep going. So we need this kind of window sort of thing, and then the tray outside. So I'll just simply Control C, Control V one more time. And then we can scale it in. Here, boop. Oop. Let's reselect it real quick. Scaling on the y-axis, I believe. No, yeah, z-axis. My bad. So scale it in, sort of create this tray. And for the people that don't know what we did last time, I'll actually find it so you can kind of see what it is that we're going for. Is what we're doing today making sense for the people though? Oops, so shit. So right here, sculpting, then we had, yeah, these were the ramen shops from last time. really well done by everybody. And we're sort of going for something similar, right? So just very basic, sort of low poly, very cute. Is what the people were doing. It's amazing. Yeah. So if you sort of see that here, we're just doing the same thing again. We're just using very basic cubes. Then you can zero stuff out if you need to, if stuff became wonky. Okay, there we go. And then let's see if we can figure out where the chairs go. So it's very basic. Okay, so now we need to make the chairs, and obviously chairs are not cubes, so what do? Well, luckily for us, 3D is magic, so we can click Shift A, or we can click Add, and we can go to the Mesh tab right here, and then we have a bunch of different primitive shapes, and one of them is a cylinder, which is exactly what we need. So let's see what that looks like. Looks like this. Nice, great. And then we can scale it down. And if you're wondering, what we're looking at right now is sort of the viewport view. So this view is just made for us to work, so we can see where everything is at. But if we want to make it look nice, we go and render it out. So that's what we're going to do later. We can render it out with lights and everything. Yeah. Okay. We'll make some stools here. We can copy this, scale it in, and then scale it out. So you can also use the tool if you're not familiar with the hotkeys. And we can cheat a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect, like it can go a little bit inside and it can go a little bit under. That's completely fine. Ain't gonna hurt no one if we can't see it. If you don't see it, it doesn't exist. Oh, we can scale it up by selecting the middle. Then we can move it down a little bit like this. There we go, and we sort of have a bar chair. How did you make the round shape? Yeah. So, you can click Shift A to get the menu with the hotkey, or you have this little bar up here with some options, and one of them is Add. And in the Add menu, you go to Mesh, and then you have all your primitives there. And the one I selected was the cylinder. But if we needed a donut, for example, we can select the torus, and then we have a donut. Or if we wanted a sphere, we can click sphere, and we have a sphere right here. Yeah, of course, no worries. Yeah, feel free to ask again if something goes too fast. That's what I'm here for. Okay, so something cool that we can do is, you might have tried this in Windows already, but we can left click on something and then we can hold down Shift and then we can left click on another thing, and now we have both of them selected. So you can see that I can kind of move these up and down together now. And so what I just did is, so if you do something and you don't like it, you can click Ctrl Z to undo that step. Ctrl Shift Z to redo it. So undo, redo. Ctrl Z. There we go. So we can Shift select both of them and then move them a little bit down. And now we can Shift select all three of these, and then we can click Ctrl C and Ctrl V. There we go, we have a second bar stool. It's kind of neat. Let me know if people can get that working. Something fun you can do if you think the whole gray thing is a little bit boring, you can go up here. There's a little arrow next to these three balls, and then you can select different looks for your object. So there's madcaps in here, and you can select a bunch of different ones. So I like to use the gray matte cap, so I'll just go with that one. Okay. I hope people are able to follow along. So obviously there's some shapes in here that we cannot get with the just spheres and like cylinders and cubes and stuff like that, and we'll get around to those. Maybe for now, let's make the frame where the window is supposed to be, and then we'll poke out the window after. So I just copied this back wall right here, so S is a little bit easier to control sometimes. And of course, to the people that have a little bit of experience, you might be thinking to yourself, oh well, there's a way easier way of doing this, and that is very true. There are many of the things that I'm going to be doing, there's like a easier way of doing those things, but this is just meant for people to understand what they're doing right now and not just blindly copy, right? When you also get a little bit familiar with the software, and then you can always learn the faster and better methods on your own if you understand the very basics. Okay, so we can copy this out, and then you can rotate it by 180 instead of 90. Whoops. So if that happens, you just gotta select it again. So we can rotate it at 90 on another axis, on the y-axis. Right there, and we can scale up. This sort of thing can happen if two cubes or whatever are on the exact same position in space. Like they're overlapping, so you can just move one a little bit in. And I wouldn't worry too much about making everything like super exact. It's kind of charming that it looks a little bit crafted, if that makes sense. I do like that look myself, so I'm not gonna worry too much about the exactness of everything. So, and we can copy this thing, Control C, Control V. There we go. Say this is gonna be our window. Okay, so how do we actually go about creating a window in this little box? And it's kind of like weird to think, if you've never modeled before, like you can't really just, you can't add something, you gotta take something away, but what we have is just a box. So how do we do that? Well, we gotta edit the shape basically. So in Blender, there's a couple different modes, and right now we're in the object mode. So up here, you see it says object mode. And what this means is that when we click something, we can just select different objects. So if we want to edit an object, in this case, we want to poke a hole in this back wall or this cube here, we go to the object mode and then we select edit mode. So we're editing an object now. And this is how you basically model in 3D, and this is pretty much universal in all the 3D packages. You have vertices, so you see up here vertices. You have edges that connect those vertices, so these points, the corners are called vertices, and there's an edge between all of them, and then 3 of those or 4 of those make up a face. So you have these different selection modes. So you can actually go in here and you can move an individual point. So you see I'm moving a point around. Or you can go in and move a face around. And this is sort of how we edit stuff. Let's say I wanted this sort of shape. I just go back into object mode, and now my object has that shape. I hope that's making sense for people. So you have object mode and edit mode. So we want to poke a hole through this. So, well, we can't really move something to make a hole, that makes no sense. So what we need is more polygons, we need more geometry, we need more edges, we need more faces, we need something more to work with. And for that we need different tools. So out here on the left we have a bunch of different tools to edit with. And the one we're going to use now is called loop cut. So what that does is you click your model with it and you see how it's made an edge all the way down the center of our model. So if we go back to the move, we have more points to play with right now. And it's got to be said that we can also delete these points, right? So we can kind of do that. Okay, so where do we go from here? Well, we want a loop cut, but we want to do it in the right places so we can make a hole. So if we go ahead, we can make a loop cut right here. If we want to, we can move it. You can also click Control R and then you can move it like that. But for simplicity's sake, I'll just put a loop cut and then I'll move it right here inside my border. And then I'll make another loop cut. And I'll move it on the other side. Third loop cut. So this one went, yeah, right here and you can see it. And then one more loop cut. Can move it up. So if I solo our object real quick, or if I pull it out, you'll see that what we have, and so to go quickly in and out of edit and object mode, by the way, is tab. That's what I'm using. We have this face right here in the middle now, because we put loop cuts everywhere, and that makes it so we have a bunch of faces here. And we can just select that face, and we can click delete, and then we can delete only the face. And now we have a hole. Kind of cool. So let me revert, so it's like in the right place again. So you select the face mode up here, select your face, click delete, and then only faces. And now we have this hole poking through. Let me know, everybody, if you managed to do that. And that's kind of like the basics of 3D modeling, more or less, right? Like you have your objects and you edit them in some ways and you can put them together. Of course, the tools, there's a million different tools, and mastering all of them is a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of knowledge and information, and you can like dive into this for many, many years. Okay. I hope I'm explaining myself alright for y'all. The most important part is that I get you all along. It's not about the result today, right? It's just about teaching you all the very basics, and I'll be happy to do that. Okay, let's try to make this frame up here, and we can do it again with some other editing of a model. So let's just start fresh. Let's add a cube. Actually, let's do it a different way, just to just show how all this works. So add, and then we can select mesh, and we can add a plane. So what a plane is basically just a one surface, one face. So if I go into edit mode, you'll see that it just has 4 points, and that makes up a plane. So it doesn't have any thickness, right? So what I'm trying to do is this little latch right here. So let's go ahead and scale our plane into the right position. So right now I'm just estimating the size, sort of. Okay, let's see, about right here is good. Of course, I'll give you all a little bit of time to catch up. Let me know about the pace. Am I too fast? Am I too slow as well? Okay, and now basically what we need to do is poke a hole through this thing. So we're gonna do the same thing that we just did. So with this loop cut tool, you can also just left click to place the loop cut and then hold it. Don't don't let go, and then you can also just move it. So, whoop, let's say right there, right here, and then we make a hole. So right here, then right there. And now we can select the face in the middle because we basically just created it. And then we can delete it on the face. If we select like vertices, for example, what's gonna happen is it's gonna select all these corners and delete them as well, right? So we don't want that. We just wanna select the face and then say only faces. And now we can use a different tool to edit our object so we can give it some thickness. And we do that with the extrude tool. So the extrude tool right here, you can extrude like this and you can give it thickness. And so the hotkey for that is E. You can just give it thickness or use the extrude tool. Okay, oops. So now that it has thickness, we can go back into object mode. And now we can move it down a little bit and then we can rotate it. That might have been a lot right there, so let me know if it was appropriate speed, if you got it. We should also make a sign for sure. So let's just add another cube. It's all the very basics. Whoop. Cubes are just super useful. So S to scale makes it a little easier. G, and then we can do like Y if you want to get advanced with it, or you can just use the normal tools. Scale down this axis, that axis. Whoop. Yeah, let's just get it right there. And now we can do something sort of fun. We can use a different tool. So let's go and edit this sign here, this sign object. And then we can use the bevel tool. So what the bevel tool does is when you select an edge, well, it bevels it. So it kind of does that. Right. Oh. And then you can like add more segments and you can kind of see what it does. It basically smooths it out, kind of as if you were to like take some sandpaper and like rub on the edge or something. So we can select everything and actually just bevel it. The hotkey for that is Control B. So yeah, it's doing something weird, of course, and for the people that want to know why, it's because we have some scale on it. So you can just, if you don't want to mess with that, you can just Control B, bevel, and say that looks good enough. But you can also remove the scale. That's like by clicking Control A and then just selecting scale, apply all the transforms. You don't really need to know what all that means right now, but if you want to do that, you can. There we go, and then you can just bevel everything. Get this kind of soft looking sign. You can also do it this way if you want to be a little more careful with it. You can shift select all the edges around it and you can bevel those and you get this kind of effect instead. And maybe that's a little bit more neat. So we can do that. We can make a hole in the top too. So we can use another tool right here. We can use the inset tool. So inset faces, let's try that. You can kind of see what that's gonna do. It takes the surface that we've selected and it like puts it in basically and makes some new geometry. So one more time, I shift select the top and then I use the inset tool. or you can also click I on your keyboard. So I can insert it here, and then I can scale it out. And then I can actually, if I wanted to, I can extrude in. Oops. So, extrude in. And now we get this kind of sort of hole in it. Sort of neat. And then if we want some light to come in through here, we can just delete that as well if you want to. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put some planks in here, like a reference. Oh, sorry, I should show my reference for y'all. So it doesn't have to be one-to-one. We can sort of just get the feeling of it. This is not meant to be a tutorial like perfect replication, but just how did you cut into the cube with the loop cut? Yeah, so you're talking about this basic cube. Let me just go ahead and do that one more time for you all. So let's say this is our cube and we want our window to be here, same place. You go into the edit mode, top left, and now you get all these tools out here. So one of them is called loop cut, and then you can just left click and hold, and then you can place your geometry, your extra faces and your edges. You see I'm just left clicking and holding, and I'm sort of creating this space where I can go ahead and select and then delete only faces. Does that make sense? So you can select any face here and then click delete on your keyboard, and then you can select only faces. If we wanted this to be a door instead, we can delete this. And then we can actually take this whole thing and, like, you know, yeah, a bunch of stuff. You can extrude it. Oh, oops. Yeah. I mean, no, don't worry about it. It might just mean that I'm going too fast, and I'm more than happy to answer your question. I'm glad you asked the question. But did my extra explanation make sense? Or and it's fine if it didn't, then you need a little bit more. Like, I'm here to hold everybody's hand and get everybody through it today. That's why we're doing it live. So this little plank here, I can copy it and I can rotate it by 90 degrees. So RZ 90. Or you can also go up here, select that, and then rotate it 90 degrees on the Z-axis. Scale it in a little bit. Okay, we can copy it out. So I just gotta watch out, they're not exactly in the same spot. So I move it up a little bit, and then I copy it out. Okay, kind of cute. Got this pattern up here. I could even do it like this as well. It's kind of nicer. Okay. How am I with the speed, everybody? Is it too fast, too slow? Okay, so we just gotta go one by one, do all the things. Let's maybe get the coffee sign down, because that one's kind of cool. So we can just select a cylinder that's already there, or a disc, and we can Control C, Control V that up, and then we can rotate it by 90 degrees. So we can do it like that. Whoop. So we can see on the y-axis. That's a good trick. If you're like losing track of the axis, you can just rotate it a little bit that way, and then you see the number right here go up, and then you can just go 90. A bit slow here as well. Oh, okay, it's fair enough. Is there something specific that was difficult? I can sort of do stuff again. Well, it really is just like the basic tools, right? And it's also meant as like, you know, missed the cut thing. Fair enough, so like how to cut into the box? Or how to like cut the corners right here. Deleting the face. Hole in the window. Alright, fair enough everybody. How to cut the box. Did you guys manage to put in your loop cuts? Like the loops around your box. So let's start from the very basic again. So first thing is we make a cube, right? So add mesh cube. Okay, so you guys have your loop cuts. So let's say, okay, let's just scale it in a little bit so it looks the same. Okay, so select the loop cut tool and then left click, hold, left click, hold, left click, hold. And you see how right now we have a square where it is that we want our hole to be. So right here. So you guys might not be able to select stuff because you need to go back to a different tool. There's like the select tool, there's the move tool. So you can just go, for example, on the move tool, let's say. And then right now I can't select edge, the face in the middle because I'm on the edge mode. So you can be in the point mode, the edge mode, and then the face mode. So that's the one we want. So just any tool right up here, select the face mode, and then select your square. And then click the delete key on your keyboard and then select only the face and then you have a hole. Does that make sense? So you could even do it on just like a cube. You can go into the edit mode up here, select the face and then click delete and then only faces and then you have a hole. Let me know if that is sort of working. Great, we got the hole. Let's go. Good job, nice. And of course the tricky thing is like you can line up your edge loops right here with the beams that you put and then it looks real nice. I get you now. Right, nice, great job. So I'm assuming this bevel thing is also not happening yet for y'all. And how to do that? Let's say we want to bevel these corners right here. So I select it and I click tab or go into edit mode. Then we can use the bevel tool right here. So I go to the edge mode, I select an edge and then I bevel it. Whoop, right there. And then if I want it to be smoother, you can click the little bevel tab right here and then add more segments. You kind of get that. And if you want the bevel to be more even, you can't have any scale on it. So to do that, you can click Ctrl A and then apply all the transforms, let's say, or apply the scale. And then you can go back in and bevel. You don't have to worry too much about that right now. It's just kind of if you feel like it. Let me let me know if you all are following along as well. So great. It's the first time I've been modeling a coffee shop on stream, so the more feedback I get, the better it is, because it can be sort of difficult to know where people get caught and what's difficult and what's not sometimes. Okay, we could go ahead and make the sign. which is also like a cutting thing. So in the same vein as this up here, we'll make a plane first. So I'll just try to make like this front surface right here of our sign. So we can just go straight ahead into edit mode. We can select everything by clicking A, and then we can scale it in. So let's make it long. And now we can go ahead and use our loop cut. So what we need is basically a square right here where the legs are that we can delete, so we can actually make this shape, right? So I'll first make a loop cut that can be right here, and then a loop cut right here, and a loop cut right here. So let's try that. So left click and hold, loop cut right here, then a loop cut right there, loop cut right there, and then select with a tool, and then we can select that face and we can click delete and then only the face. So we have this problem where there's like an edge left over. That's fine. Oh shit. Can we do it like that? We can just, so you just select delete and then faces. That's a better way of doing it. Then we have this, and then we can give it some thickness too if we want to. So you can select everything by clicking A, and then you can click extrude region. So this one is sort of the level up of what you both just did. Let me know if you need a re-explainer on that one. I'll be more than happy to. And then the idea is that we can like rotate this by 90 degrees and move it over in the right place. Oops. Okay, we can duplicate this, then rotate it the other way. Alright, there we got our sign. Now we can select both of them by shift clicking and then rotating them together and moving them together. And don't worry about it, everybody. It's fine to make me repeat stuff, you know, that's what I'm here for. We can sort of get to work on these down here as well. So in the same vein as making these, we gotta think about the shape right here. So we add a plane again. And we can think about, well, what kind of shape we have right here. And then we basically gotta find a solution. Like, how do we get that shape? And what I see is that we can just add a loop cut here. And then we go in and we can move these points around. We kind of get that shape. You don't really need to worry too much about the scale of stuff, right? You can always scale it down. And then you can select this middle here, and then we can use the Inset Faces tool. Okay, whoop. Okay. Sometimes I find the tools can be the sign part. Yeah, it's fine, Valdemar. I'll go over that. So you can click I, and then we can scale this in. And then delete the face, and then we have this. Okay, before we finish up this one, I'll just go over the sign part again. There's no problem at all. So just like we did this, we basically want to make the shape of the sign, and usually, or an easy way of doing that is doing it with a plane to begin with, because you can just sort of imagine this as a flat surface, and then we can always give it thickness. So you go to add mesh, and then plane. Okay, you can pull it out. You can always move it around, so we're just making it right here. So we go into edit mode, and with everything selected, we can scale it in to the shape that we want. And now we need to make a hole through it. So we can imagine, how do we get a square right here? Well, if we cut it this way and cut it that way and that way, we'll get a square right here. So you go with your loop cut, then left click and hold, left click and hold, left click and hold. So let me know when you get to this part. And obviously you see there's a square right here. And then you get to this part. You can click, yeah, you're there now, yeah, nice. You can click it with a tool, so be careful you don't have the loop cut still selected, so you can just select any of these tools up here. You click it, and then you click delete on your keyboard, and then faces. Okay, and now you end up with this thing. So I see mine is a little bit wonky. If you want to adjust it, you can just left click and drag over your points, or you can select the edges or whatever. So with these points selected, I can just move that a little bit. Okay. So what you can do is click A to select the whole thing, because we want to give the whole thing thickness, and then you click your extrude tool. So right here, extrude region. You can also click E on your keyboard. They work the same. And then boop, you give it thickness. So let me know if that worked for you. And then after you've done that, you just go back into object mode and you move it around like we've done before. Yeah, no worries. I'm glad you all are starting to ask questions. It makes me happy. That's what the point is of this whole live thing, so I can help you all out. Yeah. Okay, and we're basically at the same point with this little beam thing for under the coffee shop. We're supposed to extrude it right here, so let's go ahead and do that. Give it some thickness. Great. And now we can select that and move it in under. You can also move it in increments by holding down Control if you want to while rotating it. Okay, we can go like right here. Of course, there are very exact ways of doing all these things and very neat ways of doing them, but I'll not be going over those right now. It's just for simplicity's sake, you know. I think it's more fun to follow along in your first tutorial if it's a little bit freeform. Okay, we get this right here. And we can just Control C and Control V it over to the other side. How did you add thickness to a plane? Yeah. So let's say we have a plane right here, and then we go into edit mode, loop cut some kind of shape into it. Whoops, and then we can like delete this whole. So now that you have this, you can click E on your keyboard to extrude, or you can click the extrude button out here, so extrude region. Let me know if you can get that to work. Okay, what should we do next, everybody? No worries. Glad I could help. Maybe let's do some of all the stuff right here, like the cups and the mugs and the plates and stuff like that. How about we tackle whatever it is that this thing is right here? Maybe we can do that. So this one will be kind of cool to do. And we can start with a cylinder for it. Do you all need like a 1 minute or something to catch up, or should I just keep going? How do you all feel? And let me know as well, like if you guys are enjoying it. I don't want to stress you all out too. Your first time trying Blender, and I'm rushing you all. That would not be nice. Okay. So for this shape right here, what we can do is go into the edit mode, and now we can do some. It's basically all the tools that we already know, but we can use them in like cool ways. So I can scale everything in edit mode. So I click A, and then scale everything up a little bit. And now I can place a loop cut right in the middle. And now I can scale that loop cut. And we get sort of this shape. Sort of starting to look like the thing in the picture. And now we can select everything again, and we can scale it down a little bit if we want to. Pretty neat, pretty neat. Try to get that. We can also okay, I won't do that. That might be a little bit much right now. We can sort of place this where the object is. Would you all like me to go over the bevels again, or how do you merge two objects? Okay, so let's say we want to merge the sign right here. Oops. So shift click both of them, and then you click Control G for join. So shift select two, then Control G, and now they're joined. It's the same thing right here. So shift, select both of them, and then go to object, and then click join right here. And then they're merged. But there's a really cool thing in Blender. I don't know if you're coming from Maya or somewhere else, but you can also shift select two objects and then edit them together. So even if they're not joined, you can like edit them together, which is super neat. Go over bevels again, yeah, of course. Okay, so simply what I did up here was I made a sign. So the only thing that's a little bit weird with the bevels is that if you have scale on your object, they can sort of act weirdly, right? So if I were to bevel this edge right here, and if I scale it down, it looks weird, right? But even if I scale it down first and then bevel, oops, it's still gonna have that weird thing. Okay, so beveling is simple enough. It's literally just selecting an edge and then clicking the bevel. So you go to edit mode and then select edges, and then you bevel right here. So Control B on your keyboard to bevel. And then if you want to smooth it out, you go to the bevel right down here. A little tab will open up, and then you add more segments. But to avoid the scale getting all weird, you have to click Control A and then apply the scale. So basically now it thinks that the object has no scale. Or you just remove it, right? And then you can bevel and then give it more segments. So you can select, Shift select, and then Control B to bevel or use the tool. And then we basically have this. You can bevel a little bit, and that's like how we got the sign, right? I just put a cube and then I beveled the edges. Does that make any sense? And you can like bevel anything in here. Let's say we want to bevel this sign. We just gotta select both these edges and then hit B. And now we have a bevel on that sign. Yeah. Or let's say we want to bevel this top. I am slow, so rewatching 10 minutes behind. Great lesson. Okay, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Just let me know if there are any questions as well. Even if you're a little bit behind, it's more than okay. Like, I'll go over stuff again. And again, as many times as it takes. Okay, how about I do some simple stuff right now to let people catch up. So I just put this frame around our box. So I make a cube. And I scale it down. How did you make the bevel more smooth? Okay. Let's say this is our cube. So it has scale that's not good. Control A, apply the scale. So I have an edge right here. So you're gonna get this. And so it's gonna look like this on your screen. So I bevel, and then this little thing, you see right here there's nothing. When I bevel, this little thing comes up down here. You click it, and then you add more segments to it. And you have a bunch of other options in here. Like you can adjust the width right here, you can make it smoother, and you can like adjust the shape of it too. You can even make it like convex, concave. You can do a bunch of stuff with it. Right, that's how you do it. And don't worry about this little jagged look, we'll fix that. Well, you can all just fix it if you want. You just right click and then you click Shade Auto Smooth. So you can shift select all these rounded objects and then right click Shade Auto Smooth. That's kind of how you fix that. Great, nice. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Oh yeah, everybody, if you're enjoying the stream, sorry I have to be a bit of a YouTuber here, but it also lets my boss know that you all enjoy it if you do like the stream. So yeah, just makes me able to keep doing this if it's working out for you and you're getting something out of it. I would appreciate it. Yeah. Hearts back at you all. Yeah, I just had to ask because it's so easy for myself as well to forget, you know? Okay, so we're going ahead and we're making this edge thing here for the outside, little border. So Shift A or add, and then we can move it out, scale it. So you see, once you learn the hotkeys, you can actually get real fast with it. And then if you do something like this, and you don't want to sit there and scale it and move it and it's a mess, you can always just go into edit mode and then select the top face right here. And then you can just scale that up and down. So you see the bottom doesn't move, but the top does. And we can even do it like this. And then scale that. So scale on one axis and we get that. So we want these cubes to be kind of joined at the corners. So what we can do is we can go into the edge mode and then select the two corner edges right here and then scale it. So I can use the tool again. So you can kind of see how that creates a little slot for the next cube to go. So let's copy this over to the other side. And then I click RZ 180 to rotate it 180 degrees on the Z axis, or you can also just type it in up here. Or you can rotate it manually. All of it works. Okay. And copy this right here. Then we rotate it by 90 degrees. We put it in the back. And now instead of trying to scale this up, we can go back into our edit mode because it's super powerful. And we can select this face right here, for example. And now we can just move it until it fits. And you see how it's not really fitting yet. So now we can shift select both these and go into edit mode together. And then we can move the edges until they fit the way we want them to fit. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's just gonna give it a little bit of a handmade look if it's not perfect, and we cannot do like that. See how I'm kind of doing that? Shift selecting both of them and then clicking tab or going into edit mode. And then I'm just adjusting the edges. So we can copy this back one right here. And then rotate it by 90 degrees or 180 degrees. So of course we can't type in 180 right here because 90 or 180 would just be plus 90 degrees, but we gotta do plus 180 degrees. So we're gonna type in 270 right here. Or you can just rotate it manually too. So it's off center. We can center right here. Click 0 on the x-axis. Then we can go in and move stuff. Okay, shift select both these, tab to go into edit mode, and now we can adjust the corners. If there's anything at all you all would like some more explanation on, just let me know and I'll go over it again. Sort of get this. It's nice. Real nice. Okay. Okay, let's keep it up. Let's keep it up. Now let's try to do some like very fast shelving. So I'm just gonna use a trick right here. I'm gonna shift select all the front here, and I'm gonna control C and control V it. I'm gonna pull it out a little bit. Now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna adjust it. So I can select my top face here and make it a bit thinner. Shift select these. Shift select these two, move them down. So now I have this kind of thin shelf looking thing. I can select all of them, I can scale them down, whatever it is that I feel is correct. And I can actually just move them in the back here. Of course, there's not a lot of space to work right here. If you were to actually work in this coffee shop, it'd probably be hell. But, you know, we're just making it because it looks kind of cool and it's fun to learn this way. So we can make it not too wide. And then we can sort of copy these. Whoop, whoop. We get this little shelving inside. Kind of cute. Okay, I can go back to some of these cups and plates and mugs and stuff like that. Can't have a coffee shop without a mug, obviously. So what's the closest we can get to a mug in terms of the shape right here? It's probably just a cylinder. So add mesh cylinder. We can make it a little bit fat by adding a loop cut in the middle, and then we can scale that loop cut up. Now we have a bit of a fat mug. We can select the top face, and then we can use the inset tool. So now how you're seeing that we're using all these tools in combination with each other to make a whatever shape that we need. And now we can extrude this in. So E to extrude, or you can use the extrude tool here. And we have that mug shape. And if you wanted the mug shape to be smoother, you could have taken this edge loop, so alt click to select the whole loop, and then you can bevel it if you want to. But I'm not going to do that, I'll just keep it simple, right? So right click and shade auto smooth, and you get this result. What the auto smooth does is just like between each of the faces, it just makes it smooth instead of like a hard line when you're looking at it. Except when there's a really drastic angle, then it makes it hard. Okay. Can scale this thing down. Actually, let's make the handle before we do that. So how are we gonna go about making the handle? Well, we can just start with a plane. And I'll make the handle first, and then I'll put it on the mug. So I just went into edit mode and scaled everything to be thin. And now I need to add some edge loops so we can work with it. Let's just add one here, one here, one here. Let's do it this way. Okay, we can select an edge and we can move it out. Select another edge and move it out. So I'm just going over like the most basic way I can think of doing this. And now we can select all of this and we can extrude it out. We kind of have something that resembles a handle right here. Of course, there are really pretty and really nice ways of doing all this, but it's just like the most basic way for now. And you can click shade smooth if you want it to be sort of all smooth looking. Of course, it's not exactly the smoothest looking thing in the world. You can also try auto smooth if you think that looks better. Okay, and now we can shift select both of them. We can join them if we want to, or we can just leave them unjoined. So Ctrl J to join them, or go into object and click join with both of them selected. And now I'm just trying to use the hotkeys, so S to scale it down. So there's actually a little bit of a counter right here. So I'll just click Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and then scale this up. Oops. Now we have a little bit of a counter there for the mugs to stay on. Okay, let me join these two together so I don't lose them. Okay, and then you can copy it over. You can maybe rotate them a little bit too so they don't look identical. Great. How's it coming along, everybody? We have about 10-15 minutes left. So if there are any last things that I should go over, I can do that. So you can go here, you can shift select everything here, because I see it's like, feels a little bit too like tall. Then I can just move everything up like that. And then these are poking through, and I can just do the same. Shift select those and move them up. Maybe we can make a lid for this thing, so let's add another cylinder. Okay, go ahead and do that. And then for the knob on top, we can add a sphere. And then we can shade it auto smooth, and then we can scale it down to fit. And then we can actually scale it on the Z axis to make it kind of like a flat little knob. We can put it right on there. Okay. Of course it needs a handle and all that, but it's fine for now. Okay. Before we run out of time, I'll sort of just show everybody how to like put some light in their scene. So if you go to this tab right here, the render, you can change from Eevee to cycles if you want to, and that's just gonna give you like a more physically accurate like light, so you kind of see how that looks. But it also makes the stream lag because it can be quite heavy to render that out. I can just copy this up here to give it some kind of, so it doesn't just feel like it's floating right there. You can also just take a screenshot like this. If you want to, you can add some lights right here. I won't be going over that for this stream because, you know, it's all the time we have. But yeah, there's a bunch of lights right here that you can play with. So yeah, let's go here. You can kind of see your scene like this. So I think this is kind of like, you know, it's meant for you all to be able to work on this because there's so much stuff to do, so you can just keep working on it after the stream as well, right? I think it's a cozy little scene to work on. There's so much stuff. I'll post this right here in the Discord, a reference, and you can all keep working on it. If you're not on the Discord already, I would definitely recommend joining it because it's so much more fun, like learning 3D with other people as well. So I think the live chat is broken. Oh no, really? Oh, hold up. Okay, it could be that it's broken. Okay, I'm not sure, but guys, in here is some time ago. Oh yeah, okay, it's fine. All right, so right here, everybody, this is our Discord. This is where we post stuff that we make. This is from the Unreal stream. This is from the last modeling stream. We have some sculpting stuff too. Really fun, really cool. I think you should all join it, and I think you should all post the work that you've done today. And it's not about posting the most amazing work that's ever been made. It's just about posting your progress on what you've made and sharing it with other people. Because we're all learning here. And I think that'd be really cool. So you can put some lights in your scene, and then you can go to cycles and you can render it out. So you click this little ball up here and you go to cycles. You can play a little bit with your lights. Now as soon as I do it, it starts lagging, but I can go to Eevee and it's not so bad. And I'll get the link for the people that do not have it. So, so right there is the link, everybody. Feel free to join and post. So let me get a shot of my thing too. If you want, you can also do like denoise. You can click that on. And then it just looks a little bit nicer, a bit faster. You can click this up here, this one right here to remove everything, and then you just have your okay, hold up, let me put in one more light because it's getting a little bit confusing. Oop. A little bit dark. Okay, that's better. Once you sort of find the angle, and I do apologize, it's probably laggy on the stream while I'm using the renderer because it's heavy, but I hope you can still hear my voice. So let's go here. So let's say you like this angle right here. You can go to view, and then you can just click viewport render image. So let's do that. View, viewport render image. And then you get this thing, and then you can just save as, like you would save a picture. So let's go pictures, and then just do like Bootcamp coffee shop. Then we can go into Discord. Oh, nice. People are posting already. Wait. I'll check them all. Hold up. Let me post my own as well. That's nice. Good job, everybody. I want to look at them. Hold up. So I'll go my coffee shop for the bootcamp. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's start from the beginning. First time really trying Blender, it was a bit easier than sculpting. Nice, okay, I'm glad you're joining as a first. You got all the major elements, it's nice, I'm really happy you could join. I hope you found it fun. It's really it, right? I'm gonna give that a heart because that's awesome. I'm glad you joined us, I'm glad you tried. And you got most of the major elements, I'm happy about that. That David, okay, looks nice. You even got the chair back as well. Really, it was really fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Sir Nico. That's awesome. Yeah, you got the chair back, the sign. You even got the little indentation on the sign, or like the little thing that comes out. That's great. Yeah, really good job. Nice. Good job, David. I'm gonna give that a heart as well because that's awesome. Michael, nice. Got all the major elements as well. Got the hole in the top and the center. Still working on the sign, I see. That's great. Yeah, it's nice to see everybody following along. And of course, I'm sure you could keep working on this even after the stream. It's sort of meant for that. And feel free to like post the progress as well if you do progress on it. I'd love to see that. Gonna give that a heart as well because that's awesome. Catherine, okay, Catherine, nice. Made a whole bar. But I know Catherine also had some 3D experience before. That's awesome. Good job, man. That's really cool in a short amount of time. I like the whole curved countertop and everything. That's awesome. Good job, good job. Gonna give that a heart as well. Thank you for modeling alongside me. Cheyenne, used my own reference. It was super fun. Thank you. Well, thank you for joining. It looks super cool as well. You even got the little coffee sign at the top. That's awesome. Really good job on that. That's nice. That's really nice. I'm gonna give that a heart as well. Thank you so much for following along. And I'm happy that you found your own reference. It can be really fun to sort of work on your own little thing. Stove, just posting. Really nice. I'm happy to see it. Glad you could follow along. You get a heart as well. I love the little tiling on the top here. It looks really cool. It's like a nice detail. And your mug looks really awesome too. Good job on all that. That's great. Thank you so much for following. I'm really happy to see it. All these, everybody, save them. Get them ready because we're going to be texturing them next week. David, one more post from the side. Really nice. I love that. I do like the little arm, little chair things. I think it looks like, yeah, I don't know, if they are auto smoothed, that might be able to do some nice thing to them. So just like right click and shade auto smooth. It kind of looks like your chairs as well. They're just like right clicked and then shade smooth. But if you auto smooth them, they kind of get a little bit of a nicer light on them. That might be able to help you right there. You kind of see how it looks similar right now. But really nice, and I do love the little indentation there. You get a heart. And everybody, remember to heart each other's little models because they're awesome. And it's a lot of fun to do this together with everybody else. So show each other some love. And thank you so much for joining me. So that's gonna be it for today, everybody. Good job, everyone. And I'll see you all next time. I'm gonna be texturing. And we'll be texturing the same model that we made this time. So get ready for that. That's a lot of fun. It'll kind of bring some more life into the model that we made. And we'll get it all looking nice. So yeah, good job, everyone. I'll see you all next time. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had fun. And I gotta be a little bit of a YouTuber again. Remember to do like the stream if you did like it. Don't forget it. Because you know, it just shows everybody around me that you do enjoy the stream and I can keep going. And I hope you all learned something from it. Yeah, thank you for now, everybody. So bye bye. It was really fun. I hope you enjoyed too. Hearts at you. See you all next time. Same time, same place. We're doing texturing. Okay, bye bye.